In the fall of 2016, I moved into a house I got for a very reasonable price. I was newly single, so I wanted a place to myself. It had 3 bedrooms, a big bathroom, spacious kitchen, and a nice living room with a bay window. The basement was one big space with a laundry unit, so this was more than enough for me. The block was mostly abandoned houses, with only 5 other families occupying the other properties. I only had one neighbor right beside my home. I wasn't a social bug at the time, so I never bothered to meet the neighbors. It seemed that my neighbor was also single and a female, slightly older than me. She was Hispanic, or at least seemed to be. On the 3rd day, she greeted me from her yard as I was taking out my trash. She said her name was Griselda and that she was house sitting for her sister, who was in Guerrero, Mexico, and her 2 nieces for the next few months. She didn't say much after that. Over the next week, I would constantly catch her watching me as I did my normal house routines as well as yard work. She would look from her windows as I would be cooking or cleaning. I would usually just ignore it and close my shades. I'm not one to worry much, so it didn't bother me at first. When I would come and leave for work, she would always be on her porch in her wooden chair. I started to wonder if she even had a job. She never left her house, not even for groceries or to take out her garbage. She even wore the same clothes every day. Her house lights were never on. The only light that would be on was the basement, and that was only at night. No crime was committed, so I couldn't report this. So I just kept to myself. Around the 2nd month, I became aware that she was speaking what I believe was Latin on her porch as she watched me come and go for work. Strange things began to happen. Things in the house went mysteriously missing. Small, random things like my comb, photos, and even an old kitchen knife. I would come home and a window would be slightly opened. A light would be on that I knew was off. The basement door would be unlocked. I would always keep it locked. Even my garbage cans would look like someone was looking through them. This began to concern me. One night, I woke up to the sound of leaves rustling outside my bedroom window. I see her crouched down, looking inside my basement window, and the light was on. I go to my porch to confront her before checking my basement. She was already on her porch. I told her to stay off my property. She gives me a dirty look, says something under her breath, and then spits in my direction. I storm inside and head for my basement. All of my missing items were on the basement floor. What the hell? I gather them and put them on the kitchen counter. I was very sleepy, so I chose to go back to sleep, since I had a long day ahead. The next night was not what I expected. As I left for work at 7 a.m., I noticed she wasn't on her porch this time. Thank goodness she gets the point, I thought to myself. That night, I woke up to hear the woman. She's in my house. Her voice was coming from the basement. I get my baseball bat and head downstairs. The basement door is wide open and the lights are on. She wasn't down there, but I found 3 rats that were gutted. Their insides were scattered around the basement. Suddenly, I hear footsteps going up the stairs to the bedroom. I run up and find her naked, sitting at the foot of my bed. She had blood on her hands, arms, chest, and face. She killed those rats with her teeth. She hissed at me and I slammed the door shut, locking her in. I called the police and they arrived in minutes. They informed me that her name was Ashley. They also discovered her sister and the 2 nieces in the basement of their home. Their bodies were propped on a couch. They were decomposing. A camera on a tripod was in front of them. She was taking photos with them and had a smile on in each one. She stabbed them to death. The police stated that the photos went back as far as 3 months. The bodies slowly decomposing in each of them. I believe I was about to be her next victim. I still live here, but I'm more cautious about the people around me. I now know to report suspicious behavior when I see it. Stay safe, y'all.